Hey guys, welcome back to another Hypixel UHC video. So basically this is part 1 of 4 of my 15-star video. This first part is just the first 20 games, then the next part is another 20 games, and the third 20 games actually involves me getting leaderboards. I think this is my third time getting back onto those, and the fourth one is actually me getting 15 stars. So basically this was the last 500 score until I hit 15 star, which means that's just a lot of games of UHC. And then after each game I'm going to put up the stats of like how many diamonds and gold I mine. And also I'll put up my kill death and win loss ratios. So I think that's all I actually need to explain right now. So let's get right into game number 1. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Alright, so here we are in game number 1. So some of these games were streamed live on my Twitch, including this one. So drop a follow if you want to watch some Hypixel UHC. Anyways, for this game, it was during the weekend. We had the fishing modifier, and I also got the extra kit modifier giving me horse kit. In terms of mining, I got 8 diamonds and also 17 gold ore, but I forgot to get cane unsurfaced for my sharp 3, so I had to go back up there for that. As soon as I got a little bit of cane, I tried to craft the sharp 1, but I got jumped, but this player did not really know what they were doing, and I managed to get a really easy kill on them. They had a bit more cane for me, so I made a sharp 3, and then I went to 0-0. When I tried to take my horse though, somebody just killed my horse, and then they left me alone, but I had to waste a G-head there. Eventually, I found a player who didn't really know what they're doing, and I got a good lava on them, and got a really quick kill. Afterwards, I found a fight, and I tried to clean up, and then eventually I just chased both of them, but I got trapped by the first person. But then the second person jumped down the ladders and tried to crit the trapper out, so then I could go in and get out of the trap, and then clean all of that up for the kill. Then I got cleaned myself, but I managed to get a quick kill on them with the G-head. And then another cleaner showed up, but I got stuck in a few too many blocks, and then they eventually got away. When I got to surface, I was basically screwed, so I crafted deuce after getting crit out, and I almost quick dropped, but I managed to get the deuce made, and I dug down into a 1x1 hole and tried to use the deuce on them. I got it off and got them blocked in with me. However, they were just so tanky that they just tanked through all the time of deuce, and then I just died. So we got a nice 4 kill game, which is not terrible. Honestly, it's pretty good. If I get 4+ kills in a game, I'm considering it a successful game. So here we are in game number 2, and I mined 6 diamonds and 5 gold ore, but I also did bring cane underground, so I got a nice rush in with a sharp 3 diamond. So the first person I found was a cheater. I already knew they were hacking, so I just dug down, and then they dug under me, so I just jumped on them, and they basically tried to obby me for some reason, but they couldn't really do it at all, and they kind of just died. Up on surface, I found a clean iron to go for, and they were a pretty simple kill. They didn't really fight back too much, and they just had no healing, so they just died really quickly. Next, I found a cleanup in a trap, so I went down there, and the first person I found over there was basically this guy who didn't even fight back. He was just trying to build up out of the trap, and then he got confused and he got scared, and then he just stopped clicking back at all. When I went up, the trapper also went up with me, and then they tried to trap me, so I knocked them into the trap, and we were both in there, and it was a simple kill because they can't get out the trap because they surrounded it all with wool. Then I found a clean iron to go after, and then they really didn't put up much of a fight. They just kind of ran away poorly, and eventually I chased them down and got the kill on them. Back at 0-0, I found an enchanted iron to go for. They had a few heads and G-heads and stuff like that, so they actually put up a good fight here. After a few small melee exchanges that just basically drained their healing, eventually they decided to actually go in for the final fight here, and when they did that, I decided to pop a G-head, and that was enough to finish off the kill here. But then there's a cleaner, so I decided to turn around and try to combo them, and they really didn't know what they were doing, so I got the easy kill. The next kill I found was on this random leather. I don't even know how they survived for this long, but it was just a nice quick kill. Eventually I ended up in a situation where I was hiding to wait for all the stacked people to fight. There was basically a 3/4 diamond, a full diamond, and another cleaner, all in an underground cave. Basically I just waited for the first lightning strike, and then when the first person died, I decided it was my time to go in. Once I realized the second person was about to die, I decided to pop ahead for the speed so I could get into the cave quickly, and I just jumped straight down in there and went all in right here. I just kind of got into hit trade with them, but I realized I was literally losing the fight because they just kept popping G-heads here, so I just backed off and decided to heal, but it was a little bit too late, and they were still more geared than me, and they just kept popping more heads, and they really had a lot more healing than I expected after all that. So I died right there with 8 kills, but honestly it was not a bad fight, and I think I made the right decision. Bit of an unlucky situation for me that they had so much healing left. And with that, that was our second game with the 8 kill loss. Here we are in game number 3, and for this one I basically found a person in my strip mine who was logged out already, and I just got an easy sand suffocation on them for 1 free head right here. Then I mined literally nothing. I actually mined 0 gold and 0 diamonds, so I had to go up with clean apprentice gear, and after looking for cleanup for about 5 minutes straight, I couldn't find anything, so I just had to play aggro and go for an obby trap. I then proceeded to get stuck in a ghost dirt, and then I just got crit out by 2 people because the person who I was going for was already critting me from under, and there was also a cleaner above me, and they decided to crit me out too, and I just instantly died. We don't talk about this game. Okay, so here we are in game number 4, and personally I mined only 1 diamond and 6 gold ore, However, I actually got a pre-PvP obby trap that allowed me to get another 6 gold ore and 7 diamonds. In the statistics, I'm only going to write down the diamonds and gold that I mined personally and not include the stuff that I obbied for. Anyways, with the loot that I got, I managed to make a sharp 3 diamond and then surface with a good rush again. As I begun to shear, somebody came to attack me and they only had an apprentice sword though, so I managed to get a pretty easy kill on them. As I was turning that head into a G-head, another person showed up and I decided to fight them also, and they actually had a lava and they got a pretty good lava on me, and then I got stuck in the obby and I got destroyed. So I had to back off a little bit, and I was actually a one hit here, so I G-headed and turned around, and I managed to quick drop them with 2 G-heads. Then I found a trap, so I decided to write down the coords here and make a waypoint, but the trapper showed up and rotted me right into the trap. And then as I was going up the ladders, I realized the trapper's loot fell down, and there was actually a fight above me, so I went up there and decided to go clean up, and I went for the iron because they were lower. After a short chase, they got stuck in the forest and died. Then somebody tried to obby me, so I dug down after them. Then they obbied me, but I could just swim straight out of it because of the new anti-cheat, and because of that, I could just get an easy kill on them. Then I found another trapper, but it was a pretty obvious trap, so I just dug around it, and then I managed to hold them up in the air. They really couldn't get down into their trap, and they just died in midair. Then I got hit into it myself, but then that person who hit me in fell down the actual trap, and then I just crit them out in there. With all these heads, I had now 5 G-heads and I made Death Scythe, and then I found the cleanup that I really needed. Because even though I had 7 kills right here, I actually only had 1 piece of diamond armor, which was a Tarn helm I got from the person I obbied, and now this was finally my opportunity to secure some loot that would allow me to win the game. Once I realized the full diamond was about to die, I went in and attacked the half diamond here. However, I wanted to secure the kill on the full diamond, so I went in and I got backstabbed and I almost quick dropped, because when you eat a regular head, it actually sets a cooldown for both regular heads and G-heads, and I almost dropped with 5 G-heads because I couldn't eat the G-head immediately. However, I made it out of there, but I'm really happy that I did not die because I would never hear the end of it from you guys. Anyways, the full diamond eventually ran away, but they jumped off a cliff and missed MLG, and it was finally my opportunity to go in for the cleanup. So I started death scything the other person to drain them, and then I cobbled them into the corner here. Basically, they didn't really have anything they could do because they didn't have as many heads, and then they blocked themselves in with no pickaxe. I didn't have a pickaxe myself either though, so I went and grabbed one off of the loot pile, and then it was a pretty easy crit out here because they literally couldn't do anything. They didn't have a pick, so they were just stuck right here, and it was a simple kill. And now I was extremely stacked. And that's basically how this game went because nothing else really interesting happened. I got backstabbed by a leather, but I managed to just drop them in a few hits. And then afterwards it was deathmatch. There were actually 2 people with Exodus in there, but honestly they got it from fishing and they had nothing else. Everybody just had apprentice gear basically. And it was a pretty easy couple kills in deathmatch, just securing some more stats, and that was a pretty good 13 kill win right here. And in game number 5, I once again mined 0 gold and 0 diamonds, but this time I at least could make a sharp 3 iron. As I was building up out of the ravine, I saw some gold and then got backstabbed, and this person had a diamond chest plate and they had a diamond sword too, and it was actually a bloodlust, but that doesn't really change the fact that they were actually just a bit more geared than me, and they had some healing too, so I tried my best, but honestly I couldn't do anything, and I basically just died right here, and that's another 0 kill loss right there. My games are just not very consistent. I think that's the best way to put it. Now we're on to the 6th and final game of this stream, and basically I forgot to chop any trees on surface, so I went down with no wood, so I decided to try to obby trap the nearest person in my cave. And what was funny was I found diamonds which I couldn't even mine on the way to them, and they really didn't want to get obbied, so they went to surface, and eventually I had no pickaxe and asked a random noob for 2 sticks. And this video was actually made as a full UHC highlights on my channel, so if you want to check it out, it'll be linked in the description. But this person did oblige and gave me the 2 sticks, but as soon as PvP enabled, they attacked me, and conveniently their internet decided not to work, so I managed to kill them, and they had diamond boots and 2 diamonds on them. Now I heard 2 lightning strikes that were pretty close to me, and then I looked at the ground and there were 2 dead body bags. They must have dug down into some lava at Y11 and double killed down there. There were actually 2 veins of diamonds on the way to these body bags, and then there were also the diamonds that I didn't mine previously. There's also a little bit of gold in the cave, and then in total after all that I mined by myself 16 gold ore and 20 diamonds. Then I made a Fate's Call, which gave me an Eye of Ender and a slime ball. And after crafting my own blaze rods, I made a sharp 3 fire dragon sword and also a dragon armor to go along with my full set of diamond armor. I also crafted Dice of God once I got to surface, and I got a flask of cleansing out of that. And with this, I already knew it was an easy win because I was just so stacked. To start off with, I fought this half diamond and I was just so stacked they barely could deal any damage to me, and I just got an easy kill on them and they dropped with a bit of healing. Then I actually found a logged out player in a tree nearby, and that was just a nice free kill. Then I backstabbed a person and hit them into a cave, and there I managed to get a lot of damage in. And by the time they finally escaped my reach, they were on 3 health. So all I did was eat ahead, and I caught up to them, and that was another kill right there. Then there was nobody at 0-0, so I decided to craft Master's Compass. But right after I did that, I was looking around a little bit, and I got backstabbed by somebody who was using Death Scythe, but they only had an apprentice sword. Since Death Sight does 20% of your total health, it does a ton of damage. However, the apprentice sword would deal basically nothing to me because I was so tanky, and that meant they really could not secure the final kill on me, because even if they did a ton of damage with Death Sight, they'd have to use their apprentice sword at the end and it would do basically nothing to me. They also had barely any healing anyways, so I just got a simple kill on them. I thought it was going to be a difficult fight, but it was actually pretty easy. Then as I was crafting some of my gold nuggets into gold ingots, I got attacked again, and this time they really had nothing, so it was another easy kill. They really couldn't even move. I just used the fire sword and it was too much for them to handle. And now we were in deathmatch with one last major threat to deal with. Once they were in the corner, they tried to drink Deuce on me, which basically gives them invincibility for 15 seconds. However, they didn't really fully drink it, so I kept attacking them. But once I did actually drink it, I just threw my flask of cleansing on them to clear their effects, and their potion was completely useless. Then I just used some head speed to chase them down right here, and this was the end for them. They just got cornered again, and they had no way to heal, so they just instantly died. Then there was one last player. They had one piece of prot 4 on their helmet, but it was basically nothing because I was super stacked anyways. They were pretty tanky, but I just out healed by so much it didn't matter, and they just died in the end. Nice 8-kill win, not bad, a good way to end off the stream, and yeah. Let's get on to some teams games now, guys. Just kidding, because we got one more solo game before we start with teams. This is probably the most mediocre solo game I've ever played. I was getting stalked in my cave, so all I could make was an apprentice sword, and I only had 10 gold ore. This fight was also so stupid. I just got lavaed, I lavaed them, and they had no water. This is just a really weird fight here. I kind of just wanted them to burn up so that I could actually kill them. I had to just keep backing off. Eventually they just dug down on me, got a weird hit. I don't know if they're cheating or just laggy, but I barely ended up killing them, and I was on 1.5 hearts. After this, I made a sharp 3 iron before heading up to surface, and once I was on surface, I found a trapper and dug behind them and under them, and then I just came up their own ladders and killed them right there. And at 0-0, everybody was just so stacked, I couldn't even find a good fight to take, and I tried to use the trap, and honestly, I trapped myself against the ladders and just got killed. Alright, here we are, finally on our first teams game. So there's a few things I need to say before we actually get started. So all the stats for teams games are actually going to be separate from the solo games, as it doesn't really make sense to keep them together. Additionally, I'll go over what strategy we're doing as a team, but in terms of mining statistics, I'll only keep those as my own personal mining stats. So in this game, I was teamed with Weber and Flows, and we were deciding to rush glitched modular bow. So I mined 15 gold ore, and then on the way to surface, I found this random noob in my cave. They were a pretty simple kill, and they decided to try to run away. If Hypixel would let my lava place, I could have obbied them, but it still didn't really matter because it was a pretty easy kill nonetheless. It just took a little bit of extra damage. So even though we were rushing glitched modular bow, this person had all the stuff for a sharp 3 diamonds. I decided to make that too. And on my mod bow, I got power 3 only, but that's not that bad. Eventually, we found the bee hopper, and I just shot at him a few times, and then they dug along with their teammates, and they managed to both jump in a 1x1 together. So Weber just drank a deuce and went all in on both of them, and it didn't really matter since he was invincible. We then found a random solo, and I just killed them. We then found 2 random irons here, and it was 2 free easy kills. My teammates killed the iron before we found this 3 team here, and I shot them up a bunch with the bow, and then my teammates went in, and it was a pretty simple 3-team kill right here. Literally nothing happened in deathmatch. My teammates just killed everybody, and it was over already. Game number 9 was another team's game with Weber and Flows again, and this time we decided just to play normally and rush. I mined 25 gold ore, and then met up with my team to get some diamonds so I can make a sharp 3. Weber then got jumped, so Flows and I tried to save him, but we failed miserably, and this team basically just destroyed us, and then Flows died. In the end, I ended up sitting in the middle of a river to try to rod them away from me, and I just kind of stalled. After running for half a century, I went up a skybase in the middle of nowhere, then swept some loot from a bee hopper, and then the hopper murdered me. What a great game, guys. We love Minecraft. Here we are in game number 10, and in this one, I was teamed with Weber again, who was nicked as Nancy Holmes, but our new teammate was Hypixel, nicked as Dabbing Cow. For this match, I mined absolutely nothing in the caves, but Hypixel went nether. However, before we could all meet up, Weber got jumped by a full diamond bee hopper and died. So Hypixel and I met up on top of a skybase. We basically just fished there until the coast was clear, and then when there was a team under a skybase, we finally went down and fought. Originally, I had a 1v1 with this one nicked player right here, but I just couldn't really kill them because I can't tell if they were either cheating or lagging or something. They were just really suspicious, and I was getting destroyed, so I just backed off. Then we realized that Hypixel had a 1v1 now, so he killed his guy. But then he was getting jumped inside a ravine, so I jumped down to go save him, and he blocked up in a cave. So I started going in to try to get them off of him, and then I ended up having to back off because now they were 2v1ing me. Eventually, I just held them off with bow while Hypixel healed up and got ready to backstab them. This is how we kind of won this fight right here. I just bow spammed them off while Hypixel was coming from behind them, and then we ended up killing both of them. At this point, the hopper got banned, and we had to actually go, and Weber was spamming the cords in chat. So Hypixel went there while I looted up. He managed to sweep some of the loot, loot, but he was quite low and he was getting jumped by the entire 3 team. He did get out though with a little bit of diamond armor and also some gold. With all this, we gave him a notch apple because he had more armor than me. And then we found a 2 team right here, and they weren't too geared because they only had apprentice swords. We managed to just kill them both. I killed one of them while Hypixel killed the other. Then that 3 team that jumped Hypixel just had to fight him again, and he tried to notch on them because they were the most stacked team. And then he had Geodes and everything on him, and he ate absolutely none of it. He managed to quick drop with every piece of healing, and he didn't even eat the notch apple, so it was time for me to carry. The first thing I did was make Vidar so I would get some depth strider boots, and then after a bit of running around, we found a clean iron at 0-0 for me to kill, so I just one-tapped them. And then I found a very interesting team. They had one set of actual armor between both of them, and then the rest of the armor was basically just full leather. However, they had enchanted swords and everything, so they actually could put up a fight even though they looked like they were noobs. First, they made me chase them up the sky base, but eventually I managed to hit the first one off, and then after a bit more climbing, I could hit the other one off too. Then after a little bit of fighting, I was kind of getting destroyed by them. I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit embarrassing here. Kind of got rocked, but at least I didn't drop right here. So I ate a Jit and turned around, and I could actually finally kill them here. And the next fight I would take though was against one of the people on the 3 team who killed Hypixel. This individual was full diamond, but I thought I could quick drop them because they weren't near their team. But they just kind of ran away from me. But then they came back after me, so I drank a potion of toughness and a holy water. And then they started running again. At this point, we were both running towards this massive fight at 0-0, and I managed to sweep some of the loot. But then I was back to going after the stacked person. And this time I managed to do a pretty good job in the exchange because I had the holy water and the potion of toughness still activated, and managed to get them pretty low. Then I chased them across all of 0-0, and they actually had a trap for some reason. I didn't think this was their trap, so I just jumped down the ladders. I thought they were just going to hide from me, but then I realized their entire 3 team was there. However, I managed to quick drop them with the notch apple, but I had to get out because the rest of the team was there. And then I realized I literally picked up nothing useful. On the way back to 0-0, I found another person who only had a diamond chestplate, and I just ate my final head on them and chased them down. One of the other trappers came towards me to try to bait me again. Eventually, I made the exact same play where I just jumped straight down the ladders where I would be really aggro, and I actually held them up in the water and forced them to eat the notch. And I found an iron, and they were climbing the sky base. Overall, it was a pretty simple but annoying kill to get. In deathmatch, I managed to kill a clean iron. Then I had to fight the stack team of trappers and also this other team that mined all game. With my final head, I decided to target the trapper who didn't have a diamond helmet. However, they still had a good bit of healing left, so even though I was getting a lot of damage in, they managed to tank through it all, and I was at 6 hearts, so I backed off, realized the trapper's helmet broke, and I went back all in with the remaining head speed that I had, and I managed to quick drop them. Then I managed to sneak off and kill the remaining person on the team who mined all game. At this point, it's a 1v1 against the final trapper. I tried my best to combo them as best as I could, but I only had really 1 head and some head speed left, so it was not that much I could do to them. Eventually, they just ended up out healing me, and I just couldn't do anything. I tried my best, but this is an unfortunate death that probably could have been avoided if Hypixel didn't decide to quick drop with Geodes and the notch apple. The next game would be another off-stream solo game. This game I mined 11 diamonds but 0 gold, and I made a sharp 3 diamond. I went to 0-0 pretty early and saw this 3/4 diamond going after a clean iron, so I went all in on them. They had an apprentice sword only, so they didn't do too much damage, but I had no healing, so I needed to quick drop them. After a bit of a chase, they decided to just hit trade with me basically, and they were super low. I chased them down, and I realized I was getting chased by not the full iron because I thought they were full iron, but they were actually only half iron, and I turned around and comboed them. After quickly looting up, I got backstabbed by a clean iron, so I turned around and ate a head on them, and they actually ate a head, but it was too little too late. But they just ran into the forest, and then they ran for 3 centuries, and then they healed up with some more gaps. Eventually they ran out of the forest and decided to fight me again, so I simply just went all in on them and realized I had to eat the head, so I ate it and then just chased them down because they were super low. Right as soon as I picked up the head, another clean iron showed up. They had even less stuff than the previous iron, so I just ate the head on them and went all in again. Overall, it was another pretty easy kill to get right here, and they actually dropped with a single gap. The next fight I would take would be against a person who had diamond legs, so the winner of this fight would be full diamond. So I went down after going on top of a tree because they were not going to let me bow spam them, and I managed to hold up against the vines. Eventually though, I was forced to Geode on them, and then I managed to just kind of hit trade with them. They were a little bit suspicious. I don't really know if they were legit or not, but I was kind of forced to go all in melee, and eventually they didn't have any heads, so I managed to kill them. The next person I found was another clean iron who was just another easy kill for me. My next fight would be in this cleanup here with the full iron and somebody who had 3/4 diamond. I managed to steal the kill on the iron and then fight the 3/4. It was a pretty difficult fight, and I really was getting knocked back a lot into very unfortunate places here, but eventually I managed to kind of hit trade with them, and eventually I managed to bow them down with the final shot right there. However, the stack person showed up and stole all my loot. I literally got nothing here. I was trying to loot up, and they just showed up and stole literally everything from me. They just chased me down and drained me until a deathmatch. At that point, I killed somebody with only iron boots, a clean iron, and yet another clean iron right here. Then I tried my best to kill them, but they were so stacked it didn't even matter, and eventually, after using literally everything I had in my entire inventory, I was completely dead. They were just so stacked because they stole all that loot from me. Here we are in game number 12, and I mined 9 gold ore and 0 diamonds, but I did get a head and some carrots from Fate's Call. On top of that, I made a sharp 3 iron sword. So my first fight was against this person who was under the ice. I saw their name tag and I 1x1 with them, and then I realized they were super stacked, so I got out of there immediately. I then built up above them, and then I actually managed to obby trap them. Once I got the kill, The loot went everywhere, but I was safe enough to loot up. Then as I was fighting this iron, I got backstabbed, and the person who backstabbed me, well, as you can see, they were not very legit. My next fight was against this person who was bow stabbing me. I managed to strafe past their shots, and they ended up meleeing me in the end. They had a drag sword that did a lot of damage, but they didn't have too much healing. Eventually they aggro pearled me, but they managed to not kill me, and then I killed them instead. My next kill was against these people who were running towards me. One of them was getting killed already, so I just went and tried to steal the kill. I was pretty successful in that, and then I turned around to kill the other person. In the end, I just ate a head on them and then sort of just hit traded a little bit, and then they kind of backed off because I was doing too much damage. I then managed to kill them with a bit of healing, but as expected, it came down to me versus the hopper, and I couldn't do anything against them because they're literally cheating. They were sweating so hard too. They were literally trying to scaffold up and get away from me to hit me through blocks. Did they really think I was going to kill them? In game number 13, I mined 15 diamonds and 18 gold ore. On top of that, I made a sharp 3 drag sword. When I got to 0-0, I saw a very interesting situation. I was getting attacked by a bee hopper, but his client was too bad, so he was kind of getting stuck a lot. So I stole a kill the hopper was going for, and then I killed the hopper with a lava bucket because I couldn't get near them. Then I got cleaned by an iron, and it was another easy kill real quick. Then I killed another iron as I was looting. Then I found a cleanup. I went in to try to steal the head, but I didn't really have much success with that, but I did combo this person for an ungodly amount of time here, and I literally did that all the way until they died. And another person showed up to clean, and then I comboed them too. I then dug beneath a trapper and went and killed them. I then chased a half diamond for a while. I got them stuck in a cave, but there also happened to be a full diamond in there, so I got the half diamond to a very low point, but I couldn't actually finish them off because there was a diamond coming for me too. I went for the diamond instead because the half diamond was super low anyways. Once I killed the full diamond, the half diamond just decided to get out of the cave. At 0-0, I killed this random iron, killed the person who only had a chest plate. Then it was time for deathmatch, and I cleaned up a fight, and then I had to chase them for a while, but then I eventually got the kill. And the half diamond from earlier was back, and this time they decided to use a bit of extra reach on their arm. It didn't matter because this fight was a walk in the park anyways. I was so stacked. They didn't really do anything to me. They barely did any damage, and I just kind of ran towards them and hit them occasionally, and that was enough for a 12 kill win. By game number 14, I was back playing teams with Theo and Asolum. I got a quick sand suffocation kill. I then proceeded to mine a grand total of 4 gold ore before getting hopped on by 2 people in my cave. My teammates didn't feel like playing, so they just left. And that was an extremely quick UHC game right there. Game number 15 is another teams game with Theo and Asolum, and this time Asolum actually nicked as Max Raven. My total mining trip resulted in 34 gold ore and 13 diamonds. My teammates had gotten a kill before PvP, so that allowed me to have a Jihad at my disposal. In this first fight, that came in handy immediately as Asolum was dying really quickly here, and I Jihaded early for him to save him, and yeah, this guy was just cheating, so we had to get him out of the game. His teammates simply ran away and logged out, but I was right there behind him, and I got the kill easily. We then had a pretty difficult 3v3 right here. I managed to get a good attack in at the start, but then I got backstabbed. And then I was getting 2v1'd here, but Theo ended up saving me right here, and then I turned around and 1v1'd the other person who was left. But I popped a velocity potion and they started running away immediately. However, my teammates killed the other 2 people on their team, and now we had a cleanup on our hands. So I turned around, and with my whole team here, we went back into the fight. I popped a velocity potion and managed to single one of them out who had a fire sword here, and that was a good quick drop right here to get. Now his teammates were chasing a Solum, so we went back into the fight, and using a holy water, I gave myself a bit of health to go in for the fight here, and then I had to use a Jihad because they had a good bit of healing left, but eventually I got a drop on one of them, and my teammates killed the other. We then fought a 3 team who all had modular bow, and this is just a really obnoxious fight. After a long period, we managed to drain one of them significantly, and I managed to finish them off with bow. Then I made dare to kill the teammates because now we had 1 mod bow, and that's another death right there, and the third was the easy kill for my teammates. Now we had another 2 team to fight, but since I was on dare with a mod bow, that quickly became 2 easy kills, even though I lost my dare to a lava pool because I'm kind of bad at this game. I got attacked after that lava pool, and my teammates were killing some random players, so I just turned around and hit them real quick and they died. And now we're back to the 2 team. I killed one in melee and my teammates killed the other. My teammates were busy chasing some master's compasses, so I just built a house on top of a tree because I couldn't find anybody. Finally, it was deathmatch, and it was another easy wipe. I just killed 2 irons while my teammates killed everybody else, and that was a pretty solid 25 kill game. We honestly didn't even have that good gear as a team, but I guess there was nobody else that was super stacked. In game 16, I mined 5 diamonds and 18 gold ore, allowing me to get a sharp 3 drag again. And also this was another team's game with Theo and Asolum. My teammates got an early kill before I stumbled upon this leather, who was a very simple kill for me. We made it to 0-0 pretty late, but we managed to steal this kill really easily. Then we had our one difficult fight of the game against this 3 team right here. It was a pretty challenging fight because they were not very legit, and they also were pretty geared because they've been snowballing at 0-0 while we were out mining and, you know, getting better swords and stuff like that. So this was a challenging fight, and not all of us made it out of here alive, as you can see. But in the end, Theo was killing 2 of them, and I was trying to not die to the last one here. Theo managed to clutch up a kill too, but then he was super low, so I had to join into the fight again. I kind of got him off of Theo, and he healed healed up, and he's full diamond, so it didn't really matter. We were really stacked here, and we could kill this last remaining player. Then there's this guy in the middle of the lake, so I just shot him a bit with the bow, and then realized they were low, so I just went in there and meleeed them to death. Using a master's compass, I found a 3 team of noobs far out from 0-0, and I just killed them since I had a fire switch from the team of cheaters that we fought earlier, and this is just a simple 3 kills right here. A solo found 2 people nearby, and it was another 2 simple kills as they were just clean iron. Now there was a 3 team of nicked players that we hadn't seen kill anybody all game, so we assumed they were giga drilling. Because of this, we over prepped so hard for deathmatch. Theo brewed some strength potions, but unfortunately they were only strength 1 because we didn't have glowstone. I made death scythe and flask of ichor. Additionally, Theo knocked out a 3 team at 0-0, so that kind of helped out too. And we also grabbed a few milk buckets because why not? The first of the 3 team that we saw was this one guy who was trying to craft Vidar on the ground. So he tossed his stuff out, so I ichored and death scythed him, and that was an easy kill right there. And then we got poisoned by his teammates. With our milk buckets and some potions from the person we just killed, we were pretty stacked and we were ready to kill them. Eventually, we both just went all in on them, and I managed to get a pretty solid poison here into the mix. And then with the power of death scythe and my gap, I guess, because I'm trash at hitting them with the right item, it was enough to kill them because we were just so stacked. Like we had Giads for days and we were just popping everything on them. And one was super low, so we just killed them in the corner because they obviously didn't have too many heads as they mined all game, right? And then it was just one last player here. It's literally a 2v1 and we're ridiculously stacked. So they just logged out and gave up for the easy win right here. That was a pretty solid game. I think we over prepped a bit too much for deathmatch. They didn't even drill that well, to be honest. They didn't even have fire switch or anything. And here we are in game 17. Another one of my favorite games, the 0 kill solo loss. So I mined 34 gold ore and 0 diamonds, giving me a sharp 3 iron. I couldn't find a way to secure a kill all game, so eventually I got drained through all my gaps, and then I just went all in on this guy who was not very legit, and I just got assaulted. Just kidding, because somebody else jumped in and stole the kill on me instead. Nice, I'm super good at this game, guys. All right, now we got game 18, back with another teams game, this time with Weber nicked as Nancy Holmes again, and Astral nicked as Creepy Felix. Overall, I mined 10 gold and 6 diamonds this game, but I didn't have any cane. Then we found a solo with the Tarnhelm, and they started building to the moon. Eventually, they ran out of blocks, and it was a pretty easy kill for me because I don't really know what they're doing, to be honest. Then we saw someone heading down the sky base, another easy kill right over here. Then we had a 3v3 right here against this team of basically clean irons. I mean, I might have gotten destroyed, but it was fine in the end because my teammates killed one of them, they killed another one, and then we got cleaned. This halftime was a solo though. Now Weber was pretty low, and I accidentally hit this guy and he went flying, so he killed Weber. And then we realized they were actually trapping somehow with a farmland trap. I'm telling you, these guys with their Hypixel capes are pretty sus, bro. You never know, these guys be doing some weird things. And yeah, eventually I just went to the ladders and killed him. Then we had a 2v3 against some Japanese people, and Astro got murdered instantly somehow. Like, I was just trying to craft some healing, bro, and then he just got destroyed. So I dug down and tried to like J-hop them or something stupid. I don't really know what's happening here. I was pretty dead, to be honest. These guys had drag suits and everything. I got destroyed. I don't really care. What a weird death. Very strange game right here. And we're back on stream in game 19. I started off by finding a noob in my ravine. I basically just put them in a 1x1 with me, and then I just sand suffocated them pretty easily, and that was a good first kill right here. Then in that same ravine, there was actually a leather smelting some iron. You already know how to do the same strat to them. Then right afterwards, a full iron showed up, did the same thing to them too. I made a sharp 3 iron, and then I got drained a little bit at 0-0, but eventually I ate a head on this person with diamond boots, and by the time they got in a cave, I got them stuck there. Well, they actually went for me because they got me stuck in a block first, but then they couldn't really get out of the cave area, and I just killed them there. Then I got drained a bit more and was forced to dig down and go for an obby trap, and this is the weirdest thing that ever happened on here. I obbied them, and they literally phased diagonal through the blocks, and well, after that, I was basically just dead. And now we're in game 20. This game, I took a more traditional route to mining, and I got 2 diamonds and 16 gold ore. Altogether, I ended up making a sharp 3 dragon sword, and this was looking like a pretty good rush. There was a full diamond B upper at 0-0 though, so I had to walk around the borders and look for some noobs to kill. My first fight here was against somebody who probably had like a sharp 3 iron, and they had a good bit of gaps though, but I managed to get some good hits with my drag sword and it did a ton of damage. Eventually they got stuck in a water pool and I managed to secure the kill on them. My next kill was on this iron who built up, so I built up after them, and they didn't really go any higher, so it was pretty easy to just climb up their little sky base thing, and then I just knocked them off, and that was a pretty simple kill right there. Soon afterwards another iron showed up, and this time they had a sharp diamond sword. This is a more difficult fight here because the sword actually did damage, so I was forced to actually use the reg head, but I managed to kill them with a nice little combo at the end. In deathmatch, I found a guy with a diamond chestplate, so I went to fight them, and I used a Giat on them, and they started Giating back on me, and then I got cleaned by the person who killed the cheater, and this person had Hermes boots and everything, and they were so fast, and their sword did so much damage, I couldn't even react, and I just instantly died. Alright, that's it for the first 20 games. The solo stats are going to be on the left, and the team stats are going to be on the right. So yeah, I think we did pretty well overall. So yeah, just look forward to the next video in this series, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.